From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, April 5th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.27 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,327 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,696. Antiwar.com reports President Trump is still very different and the troops are just stuck in Syria. It could be for quite some time, too, as the idea of totally eliminating the Islamic State isn't particularly realistic on any timescale. The group's fighters have mostly fled into the desert and spread out since the loss of their territory, and there will likely always be a case to be made that some of the fighters are left. That means that while presenting this as a minor hitch in Trump's pullout, it could effectively be presented as defaulting back to the old position of the Pentagon that the troops in Syria are there in an open-ended way. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports President Donald Trump on Wednesday ordered his administration to deploy National Guard members to the southwest border to assist Border Patrol agents with curbing undocumented immigration. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen said during the daily White House briefing, "It's time to act," adding that plans were being finalized. A senior administration official told reporters later Wednesday that this is all happening very rapidly and the White House expects troops to be at the border very soon. Officials did not say how many troops the National Guard would send. President Barack Obama sent 1,200 troops in 2010, and President George W. Bush sent 6,200 to the border in 2006 as part of Operation Jumpstart. Administration officials said they anticipate a significant uptick of illegal border crossing attempts in the spring and summer months, despite the fact that those crossings had declined since Trump's election. Nielsen's announcement came one day after Trump said he wanted the U.S. military to guard the border. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports teachers from across Oklahoma walked off the job for a third consecutive day on Wednesday, repeating their demands for higher pay and more spending on education. The Oklahoma Department of Public Safety officials said hundreds of teachers from dozens of districts, as well as parents and students, had packed the state capitol in Oklahoma City by mid-morning. They want lawmakers to pass a tax package that would raise another $200 million for schools. Oklahoma City resident Ashley Morris said by telephone from the rally, "My books were old when I was in high school more than 15 years ago, and chances are a lot of them are still being used today. Students just aren't getting what they need or deserve, and that puts teachers in a tough situation," adding that her roommate is a first-grade teacher who relies on a second job to pay her bills. The walkouts follow a 2-week job action in West Virginia that prompted lawmakers to raise teachers' pay. Educators in Kentucky also demonstrated against years of stagnant or reduced budgets by a Republican-controlled legislature. Teachers in Arizona have threatened similar job actions. The state's two largest school districts, Oklahoma City and Tulsa, said classes would be canceled on Thursday as well. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after being fired from his coding position at a downsizing tech firm, 34-year-old Irvine native Sam Morrison told reporters Monday that he believed he had finally achieved the sort of work-life balance for which he has long strived.
Yeah, ever since I got fired, it just seems like my whole entire routine is just clicking. I go for jogs in the afternoon, spend nights with my wife and kid. I'm even cooking more. Everything just feels right.
Morrison, who since his termination has found time to pick up reading again, eat a healthy diet, and sleep more than 5 hours a night, noted that his unemployment has allowed him to find a level of harmony in his personal life that he never before thought possible.
For a while there, I thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life constantly worrying about getting to the office on time and pleasing my boss. Outside of the late payments on the house, the mounting credit card debt, the rapidly depleting savings, my life is essentially stress-free. I honestly couldn't be happier.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in lines here momentarily where you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio, where'd she go? She was here just a second ago.
She had to, and Chris, but Heather's with us.
Heather was here.
She had to powder her nose.
I saw her, or at least I thought I saw her sit down.
She started to, and then she went to powder her nose. So she'll be right back.
Alrighty then.
She'll be right back, Darryl.
It's like she just disappeared, like magic tricks.
Yeah, I'm here. Poof, I'm gone.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just turned my head for half a second, and then she's gone, and where is she?
Oh, these things happen.
Yeah. So there's something that you wanted to talk about, sort of a pop culture sort of something.
Did you miss me, Darryl?
But not really pop culture.
Yes, sort
So
of.
what is
that
this
was that was
thing?
just a completely accurate description of what I wish to talk about. Welcome, Heather.
Hi.
I just let our entire radio audience know that you ran upstairs to powder your nose.
Yeah, that's exactly what I went to go do.
Good. Everything well powdered?
Yes, well powdered.
Yeah. So what's this pop culture that's not really pop culture because it's a thing that has happened a long time ago?
Well, that's a horrible way of putting it, but I'm going to try to put it better, okay? Instead of bringing just complaints, I'm going to try to bring solutions. So on Netflix, a lot of people have been talking about, and it continues to get press, is the 6-episode documentary called Wild Wild Country. And it is
I had not heard of this thing until you mentioned it earlier today.
That's interesting.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I also don't have Netflix.
Well, that may have something to do with it.
I have Netflix.
Yeah, but check out, I sent you guys each the trailer, and that's a good way to kind of get a little bit of an idea. But the backstory on this, the entire gist of it is there was an Indian teacher named Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, who later in life went as Osho, and he moved his...
You see why?
He moved, yeah, it's a little easier to say, right?
Osho.
He moved his commune from India to the United States and settled in a very small town in eastern Oregon, about 2 towns over from where I grew up.
All right. And this guy died back in 1990.
Correct.
Wait, was that the link that
not
you
exactly
sent
breaking
that you
news.
put in the show prep thing?
Yes.
For the commune thing?
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, I know all about psychos and communes.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So they set up this new commune in eastern Oregon, and unsurprising, at least to me, they start to sort of rub against the local conservative eastern Oregonian farmers and people like that a little bit. And then things just begin to escalate. And I'm not going to give away a lot of what goes on because the series is well worth watching. But I want to offer a little bit more perspective in that I was kind of there. I was growing up in Eastern Oregon when he arrived. And me and my former English teacher, it was after school was out in my senior year, so I graduated. And I'm like, hey, I got an idea. Why don't we run down to the ranch and see what this stuff's all about? So we did kind of a road trip and checked it out.
Wait, so this guy was building a commune. Was he like a psycho?
No, the Bhagwan.
It was like a peaceful commune type thing.
He was the stuff he taught was really about creating a new man, a man that was peaceful, that didn't have all this baggage.
Yeah, but did he practice what he preached? Because,
Well,
I mean, Charles Manson preached some similar
Yeah,
stuff, but turned out to be a psycho.
I'm not going to get into whether he was a psycho or whether some of his followers were psycho.
Okay.
But his basic message really was about developing the mind of man to a new level. And they did that. He preached, talked a lot about, I shouldn't say preach because that's really not the right word, talked a lot about using meditation and things like that to try to achieve this. Now, a lot of the things that he did in India and brought back over were somewhat controversial to, again, conservative
Like
Eastern Oregon. Sex. So sex was not something that should be, looked down upon. It should be embraced as part of the human condition. And
Some more a polyamory sort of thing.
yeah, he was against marriage. He didn't think that was a natural state for people to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you going, I don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't think we become a first world country by embracing third world habits.
Interesting.
So.
And there were other things, and it just, when they came over, they were very much, they were different. People were different. They practiced a different religion, and they came into an area where they stood out. And by stood out, I meant that the only color clothes that they would wear were the colors of the sunset, reds and oranges and purples and yellows and stuff like that. And they started buying up property. So that kind of pushed some of the locals against them. Now, to talk a little bit about the town of Antelope, when I was growing up, had, how many people live in Keene?
About 25,000 when the college students are in town.
Right. Antelope had about 40.
40,000 or 40 people?
40 people.
Okay.
So we're talking a very small town.
Just wanting to make sure, like some people would be like, oh, that's Darryl being pedantic, but I just want to make sure that,
My family reunion had more than that.
Yeah. And I went to a high school where I had 12 kids in my graduating class. I mean, this is very small areas and very...
Hold on, I'm trying to do the math here to where 12 of the 40 people were seniors in high school at the same time.
I did not grow up in Antelope. Antelope was a couple towns over.
Ah, gotcha.
But
You
again,
had 12
small town.
people in your graduating class.
Graduated top 10.
Wow, impressive.
Isn't it?
Sucks to be the two people that weren't in the top 10.
But it was just very interesting. So you really have a clash of cultures. And a lot of the people that followed Osho, followed the Bhagwan at that point, were people that had money and they were from Europe, or they were from Southern California, or they were more upscale type of people. Part of the thing, and I should just kind of get into what happened when we went there. So again, my English teacher and I, let's do a road trip. Cool, let's go check it out. We pull into Antelope, and Antelope always has had like a general store down in downtown. There's only one road, so little general store. Sometimes it was a cafe, is one of those that sort of changes over or changes hands.
Yeah.
And I'd remembered it from going there with my parents. We had driven through there many, many times. And instead of it being the Antelope Bar and Grill or the general store, it was now Zorba the Buddha Rajneesh vegetarian cuisine.
What?
All right.
So the Rajneeshis had come to town. They're building their stuff on this 60,000 plus acre ranch outside of the main town.
I would have just went in there and ordered a burger.
But the Rajneeshis, they wanted control of the town of Antelope too. They wanted the votes and things like that, so they started buying up property and sort of pushing people out. So we went into Zorba the Buddha Rajneesh vegetarian cuisine, where I had a delightful vegetarian lasagna. It was really, really good. And all the people were so thrilled that the milkshake machine had arrived that morning. They were like nearly bouncing off the walls. They were like, yes, I can't wait to do this. It's going to be great. And there we just asked, we're just in town. We were wondering if we could tour the ranch. And they're like, well, let me make a phone call. And after, we had eaten, they're like, just, take a right out of here, go down a little bit, take another left and just head on out until you get to the ranch. Somebody will meet you there.
All right.
When we do, we're driving along this, 18-mile long dusty road.
This story is so good.
We'll get to it after we come back. But the question is, do you actually see the Rajneesh? I mean, is he somebody you actually see, or are you placed in the hands of people that are there to watch you?
Your calls and thoughts, and have you ever met the Rajneesh? 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition. The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Chris is telling us about his trip to a cult.
Did I ever leave?
Back in 1980-something.
82.
Yeah, one day I'll write a book about mine.
In studio, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Chris, the next time you go to a cult, make sure you take your MyPillow with you because it's a very comfortable pillow.
Great idea, Darryl.
And if you don't yet have a MyPillow, you can try one risk-free for 60 days. The MyPillow is designed to fit to the shape of your body, hold your neck in the proper position while you sleep. I've been using it for a couple of years, and it's the best pillow I've ever had. And unlike a regular pillow that winds up collecting a lot of dirt and dead skin over the years, you can actually throw your MyPillow in the washer, throw it in the dryer, and it's still usable as a pillow the way it's supposed to be, a pillow that will still fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. Go to MyPillow.com. Use code FTL to get your very own MyPillow at half price, or you can get a second pillow free of charge. And if you've got pets like MyPillows as well, and they have doggy beds and probably a cat bed as well. Jazzy, the studio dog, is laying in her MyPillow bed right now.
Nice.
She has never complained about it, so I'm guessing she likes it.
You must be.
And if you get a MyPillow and for some reason you don't like it in the first 60 days, you get your money back. And the pillow itself, that's guaranteed to last you 10 years. MyPillow.com, code FTL. MyPillow.com, code FTL. Chris, we'll get back to your story about the trip to the Rajneesh compound in
Rajneeshpuram,
Antelope,
Oregon.
But first, we go to the Skype, where we've got Stefan calling in from Ohio. Stefan, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I'd just like to give an update on my continued frustrations with my state Libertarian Party.
All right.
As you all know, well, most of you probably know, I am running for governor here in the Commonwealth of Ohio.
Right.
No, it's the state.
Oh, I thought Ian had said that that was placed on hold.
That was placed on hold for a very small amount of time because the party was giving me so much resistance.
Okay.
But fortunately, some of the delegation is a part of the Radical Caucus and have actually been willing to fight for me to be included in the process. Because I actually have a political director. Her name is Trisha Sprankle. She's clearly a diet Republican, posing herself as a libertarian. I think it's absolute nonsense they allow people like her into the party. That's pushed back against me, and they're actually allowing me to be involved in the process because she's trying to keep me out.
Right, and you guys have your convention coming up in about a month, right?
Yeah.
And will the gubernatorial candidate, I'm not sure how things necessarily work
there will
there
be a
in
forum.
Ohio. Will the convention select the nominees or something else?
It will be the delegation will be selecting the nominee through a straw poll.
Okay.
Because we did not have ballot access in time to participate in the primary system. So we're going to be selected at the convention. The way it's going to work is the night before we're going to have a forum, and then the next day we're going to have a straw poll, and then on the third day we're going to have another debate, and then we're going to have the delegation vote. The frustrations are coming in because I have actually had one or two of the political directors have deleted a couple of my Facebook posts.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Deleted from your... They've gotten stuff removed from your profile or from the LPO group, the page?
The LPO page.
Okay.
And the reason being is apparently I have been divisive.
All
One of my posts was removed because I got into a little bit of a debate with a potential voter for the Libertarian Party, and I refused to back down on how I feel about the idea of, state-sanctioned child support. I don't think people should be forced to pay for a child unless it's mutually agreed upon between both parents. I think that if somebody walks away, that's their free choice. And this individual told me, well, then I wouldn't be able to take care of my kids.
I mean, I'm kind of going to have to play devil's advocate here. Although I think that, when it comes to children, it's a tricky subject. I certainly don't think that as a society we would benefit by allowing men to impregnate people without taking some sort of responsibility for the children that they bring into this world.
Hold on. Isn't there what's it called? It takes two to tango?
Right. So
Yeah.
let me.
Yeah,
ask-
but it's a lot
hold
easier
on.
for a guy to walk away than it is a woman.
A woman can kill the kid.
Yeah, true. I mean, abortion and those rights is totally separate from the fact that, hey, look, if you're gonna tango, yeah, both should be held responsible.
So let me ask a question here, Heather. What about a situation where a woman winds up either divorcing or just leaving the father of the child, and then making it to where the father has absolutely no contact with the child? Should the father still wind up paying child support then?
No, I don't agree with that. And I think there's so many different cases. Like, you can't, this isn't, when it comes to children and marriages and, divorce, there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
And no easy answers.
There is no easy answer. But to say that men shouldn't be obligated to take care of the children that they bring into the world, I think is a bad precedent to set moving forward.
Hold on, go ahead.
You're just having the same misunderstanding that this particular woman had. I'm not saying that men should just be going around impregnating people and then walking away. All I was saying is the state should have absolutely nothing to do with it. It should just be a completely private matter with absolutely no court intervention.
I think if somebody is going around, though, and they're having kids that they're not taking care of, they're becoming a nuisance to society, because essentially...
What are you going to do?
Well, you're saying
from society.
It's a civil
they're
issue.
toxic. If they're going around breeding like rabbits...
Are you saying we kill them?
No. Like, you punish them. You either make them take responsibility for their actions, or you know what I mean? Like...
Either take responsibility and pay for your kids, or the state will take responsibility and pay for your food, your clothing, and your shelter.
Or they'll do something to make sure that you're not reproducing and abandoning your responsibilities.
So,
I'm all about that.
I get
Forcible
that.
sterilization. Okay.
Sure,
Sounds
why
good.
not, man? Like, we got one planet, and I'm going to
very
follow...
libertarian
whatever. I
position
don't even care.
take.
No, you guys want to go to extremes, but you know what? Like, it's like... You have to have some standards. This can't just be anarchy where everyone goes around screwing people. Oh, well, I really don't want to take care of that kid, so, we're not going to force you to. Sure, go walk away.
You take that responsibility when you open your legs.
Society will, no, not necessarily, because you know what? You can be defrauded, right? You can have somebody that says one thing, then sleeps with you, gets you pregnant, acts like they're going to be there, and then they flee the scene. That's fraud.
But do you want to have it?
deception.
Well, do you want to have a child at that point? I mean, the whole thing is if I don't trust that you're using birth control, or if I don't know and I know I don't want to have a kid, I can slap on a raincoat.
The problem is snaky, disgusting people living in our communities that don't hold their commitments, that are dishonest, that are, have no values whatsoever.
Hold your thoughts, Stefan. Hold your thoughts, Heather.
Ding, ding.
We'll be back for round 2, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Are you retired or facing retirement and you're afraid your income is going to be less than you'd like? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and I want to show you a low-cost way to create your own business working around your current schedule, creating extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusades, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Or if you want really good sound quality, you can use the Skype. Skype username is lrn.fm. We also have a Discord call-in line. You can, well, there's more than just the Discord call-in line. It's attached to an entire Discord series of chat rooms, discord.lrn.fm. We've got somebody in that call-in line. I can't go in there to tell him that we'll get to him in a minute because unmuting that would wind up having the Discord caller and the Skype caller on at the same time. Discord.lrn.fm. We will get to that call in just a moment, but let's go back to Stefan calling in from Ohio. Stefan, continue with whatever the point was that you were trying to get to.
I'll get this across real quick. The only reason I brought up that story about the lady I got into the argument with over state-sanctioned child support is because one of the political directors at the LPO ended up deleting one of my responses to her because they thought I was being divisive. And they were like, why are you trying to drive away your own voters? Right. When I didn't think I was. I think I was just taking a hardline stance. This should be none of the state's business. Why is the state even involved in this? And they were like, well, we need to be a big tent party, and it can't just be radicals.
Right.
That's what I've been told.
Let's we can adopt every state program.
Ringling Brothers got rid of the big tent about a year and a half ago.
Easy there, Darryl. Come on, man. We'll be mostly we'll call ourselves libertarians, but then we'll just keep using the same state programs, and then nobody will know better, and more people will like us because, hey, we're libertarians, right?
Yeah.
Will that work?
Yeah, I get a lot of flack for it. I don't understand why it is that it seems like every state party outside of New Hampshire and Alaska seem to be really adamant on getting votes more so than they are on spreading the message. It's gotten to the point where a lot of people in the LPO have flat out rejected the Radical Caucus entirely. And I don't understand why they're trying to take away from the party. I mean, I'm sure that you guys find it as frustrating as I do.
I personally don't agree with everything the Radical Caucus advocates for. Like, that's the thing. It's not just about getting votes. It's because I, honest to God, don't believe that anarchy is a viable solution. I think it's crazy. I think it's as bad an idea as totalitarian government. I think it's
not
too
everybody
totally
in the Radical Caucus is an anarchist.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm for small, limited government. There's certain things that I think that we'll go over. I go over things on a case by case basis. You know, I think there's good government. Just the same way there's good gun ownership, right? You can have responsible people in responsible positions, or you can have irresponsible
Do gun owners have a monopoly on the use of force and rule of law?
They do if there's someone else in the room that doesn't have a gun.
That's exactly the point.
Exactly. So
government
there's
has the
good
guns,
and bad.
you don't.
There's good and bad people in this world. So it's not about the state or not. It's about good and bad or not. And like, good people aren't going to do harm to innocent people. They're not going to take advantage of innocent people, right? Whether they're state, whether they're private sector. There's private sector people all the time that go around killing, stealing, and murdering. It has nothing to do with whether you work for public or private sector. It has to do with whether or not you're a good or a bad person.
Except the public sector has the final say, and they can get away with the nonsense because they're the ones in charge.
Private sector can run. I thought our government was bought out, right? Isn't it crony capitalism? That's the private sector running the public sector.
People throw me in a cage because I don't pay my extortion?
If you believe in crony capitalism and money is bought out of our politics, and you believe the private sector runs the public sector.
My
all
God,
right? So
Amazon's running our jails.
No, dude, you know what people get all
I
up
see
in
what you're
arms
saying.
because Facebook, like I brought a story today, it's in my show prep, about Google and their employees protesting the fact that Google is taking part in some project with the Pentagon on artificial intelligence, and they're protesting against it. Private and public sector, they work together. What matters is whether or not people are good or bad. Are they good and well-intentioned, or are they ill-intentioned?
Well, and that's
good intentions. So you can have good government. You can have good government. My mom forced me to eat my vegetables when I was a kid. Was her intentions to just control my every move and be this evil dictator? Or
did she threaten you with a gun? Did she threaten to throw you in jail?
There were punishments waiting for me if I did not eat my
vegetables. Did they involve incarceration or?
Yes, I would be sent to my room and incarcerated.
Sent to
nice,
my room
but
where all the toys are.
Exactly.
But you know what? I can look, as much as I didn't like some of the things that she did, I can look back and know that they were in my own best interest, and be humble enough to admit that I was a little bit of a rebel.
To be your daddy.
We're talking parenting versus governing. Now, here's the question. The question is, and this is what all these conversations boil down to: are you for a government to control your life, or do you think you can control your life for yourself? And most people wish to have control of their own lives, and that's okay.
I don't know.
The question
think some
is,
people are okay with, going with the flow and being part of a community and following standard rules and procedures.
I stand corrected. There are people like that. But that's where we're butting heads, and it's okay to say that. And there are varying degrees of, and not everybody who disagrees with you is an anarchist. A lot of people who listen to this show are minarchists. They only want government to be, involved in, things that actually protect property and life and things like that. And then you have varying degrees of statism that build up on top of that. There's a whole spectrum.
Yeah, I think it can get to a point where it becomes out of control, and it's just it's almost like there's too many layers to where it causes like a miscommunication between roles of government, and so therefore things can happen that go under radar, and that's when it becomes corrupted. So I think when a government gets too big, that's what happens. That's one of the downfalls of it. But I think that over time, we're always going to have this where, we start out small, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We have to, revolt, do whatever we take to get it back small again, and then it's going to keep doing it.
It's not that
wouldn't the better Why do I want to keep doing that? I'm one of 7 billion people in this world. You think I have the final say in everything? I don't. I'm just going with what I feel in my heart is right and following my own moral compass. And
Do you want to reset the cycle of violence, or do you want to break it? It's that easy.
That's a good point.
You do realize, though, that we're in a world where we have to survive. That's the object of life. It's not to die, it's to survive, right?
Yeah.
You get that, right? So, like, it's survival. I'm saying we can be as peaceful as we can up until our survival depends on it. And guess what? That's when all hell breaks loose.
So don't advocate for maximum freedom because
no, but it's the golden rule.
You can't handle your freedom, Darryl.
The golden rule: do unto others. Right? Like if it came down to it, and I had to kill to feed my daughter, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill someone to feed my daughter. And I would expect if somebody else had to kill me to feed their kid, I would expect them to do that. That's the golden rule.
I don't think anybody wants to kill you.
You don't really have a lot of meat on you, so cannibalism of Heather's
you see, you guys are totally distracting from my point. My point is that we want to have as minimal violence as we can. If you don't have to be violent, then you shouldn't be violent. But if you have to, use some type of quote-unquote force in order to save your own life or save your child's life, that's forgivable in my opinion.
Right.
If you will never get rid of violence, it's when you advocate it that I have the problem.
Right. The question
I'm advocating it as a last resort in order to preserve your own life.
Right. But that's like completely not the conversation we were having. We were talking about whether or not child support should automatically always be forced onto
because we were talking about that, and then we got talking to the state this and the state that and the state this, and that's when I advocated, hey, guess what? The state is not necessarily what's bad. It's people that are bad. It's like saying the gun is bad when you say the state is bad. What's bad is people that do bad things.
That people have when people, even good people,
it's bad in some situations. You might be
up turning
you know what? You
when
might
they
be
have
on the negative side of one particular law where you felt the sting and you were unhappy with the results. Therefore, you're blaming the state in its entirety.
Look into the Ash experiment. Look
but guess
into the
what?
Milgram experiment.
When a law gives you freedom, you're okay with it.
Look into
you're
the
okay
Stanford
with
prison
it.
experiment.
Laws
Stephen,
don't give freedom.
For the call.
No, yeah, they do.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
We'll
That's
talk.
855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What would you say if I told you that you could save 5% on things that you were going to buy online anyway? What would you say, Heather, if I said that you could save 10, 15, 20, 25%, up to 33% on things that you were going to buy anyway?
I love saving money.
Great. Go to saveatpurse.com. And now it's easier than it has been, to where in the past you needed an Amazon account. You would have to put things into an Amazon wish list and then import the wish list into saveatpurse.com. Now you can just search for whatever you want and keep adding things into your cart and then select the discount that you want. And some people would say, but what's the catch? Well, if there's going to be something called a catch, it's that you have to use Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies to fund your account. They're at saveatpurse.com. Somebody then winds up buying the items for you. You receive the items. Once you do that, you go in and then you check off a box that says, I've received these items, and then the person winds up getting the crypto. SaveAtPurse.com. I've been using it for several years, saved several $100s. Chris, you've used it before?
I accidentally put some money in a SaveAtPurse.com wallet several years ago, which was a good thing because...
and then you forgot about it?
I forgot about it until this year, so... happy me.
Yeah. So you've saved some money.
I saved money by not spending it on anything else. So yeah, that was cool.
SaveAtPurse.com. Let's go to the Discord call-in line where we've got Lumpy calling in. Lumpy, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Heather, and Chris. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I'm going to try to keep this civil. Really. I really am.
Okay.
I feel so insulted when yeah, I'm triggered right now. I feel so insulted that Miss Powder Room is even on this show. I've had a son that I found out about when he was turning 21 years old. I'm 47. I've never talked with him, never met him, never done anything. I wish I had. So years later, I find out, my girlfriend, the love of my life, is pregnant. Okay. It's almost 3 years ago now. You can imagine I went through a lot of hell emotionally, and I'm a pretty much damaged person because of it. But she got pregnant murdered our child. Okay, never heard from her again. I get to be the one that looks bad because I'm the white male, right? Blame me if this makes you feel better, okay? But I never need to involve the state. Never needed to involve a bunch of lazy, ridiculous, gangster, mob-minded idiots to make any decisions for me, okay? All right? I didn't need it. I just did it best in her interest, in my interest, not to involve lazy, weak idiots, which I call government employees. And I'm sorry, but that's about the best that you get. I spent 8 years in the military on the phony drug war to know that everybody in the military is pretty much brainless and willing to just like cops, to commit atrocities, because that's,
you basically just called yourself brainless. I hope you know that.
Give me a second before you open your mouth.
Did you had a second? You know what? You have no idea.
You're ridiculous.
You know what?
Let's listen to the call.
Dude, you sound like a psycho. You sound like a psycho.
Let him finish.
No, he sounds like a psycho.
Well, it's a call.
I'm like one of the most not like somebody who's willing to use violence to make decisions for everybody else.
You sound like the violent psycho here.
You're not qualified to make that decision, little miss.
Really? What are you going to do about it? Because you sound like you're pretty irate. Okay? You sound like you have anger issues.
Yeah, I got some anger issues.
Go see a
sick
therapist.
Of idiots being on Free Talk Live like you. Everybody else on the show has been fantastic.
Oh my God! Excuse me for caring about children and want the world to be a better place.
Oh, I don't care about children.
Right.
I don't care about children.
No, you care about your own freaking selfish needs. Like the world doesn't revolve around you. The world doesn't revolve around you, buddy.
You're trying to survive, so you're gonna say the world doesn't revolve around me. Yet you want to use all these other minions to do your dirty work and make your
really?
laws,
Guess what, buddy? I've been a single parent now for 8 years. I don't get a penny in child support, and I don't go after it either. So you can go screw yourself.
I don't get
all right. I don't use the government to do my dirty work, but I'm saying that there's a time and there's a place where sometimes as a community we need to step in and we need to make sure that the people living
about. But you can't even listen to anybody.
No, you're just you know what? You need to go do some yoga. You need to go do some yoga.
You know what? To listen to anything else other than you'll cling to your ignorance.
Okay,
you
buddy.
Absolutely cling
I can't even
it.
deal with people like this.
Hold on.
Heather, let him finish.
The Discord chat room, because you can't hear truth. You will willfully refuse.
Because in a free market, not
everybody
wants to
Heather, let him finish.
Yeah.
Lumpy, continue.
Yeah, because it's a call-in show. Go ahead.
All right. Life is hard. I don't support or agree that making any laws or anything like that, or putting these other people, these things cost money, first of all. And if they don't agree with me, that's fine. They shouldn't be taxed, which is theft, which is a threat to steal from them to get your morals and your laws all taken care of, whatever they are. Okay? I don't want these slime bags to take care of it. I'm grown up enough to feel the pain of life and experience it like a grown up without having to throw my weight around like a whiny bitch.
Lumpy, I don't know if you're aware, but Heather has walked out of the studio.
Typical. Now I just looked up at the TV and I see that. Yeah, of course she is. She refuses. She's willfully ignorant. She is absolutely willfully ignorant. She refuses to see anything with heart. And hey, I'm not perfect. I don't have the answers, but I know that the ones that she forces or wants to force down everybody else's throats are not the solution. They don't work. They're very harmful and very destructive of humanity. I've felt the pain of that. I've been put in a wheelchair for months by some psycho cop when I was trying to kiss my wife goodbye when I was in contempt of court for goading the court. And probably it wasn't the smartest thing to do in the world, but for ridiculousness.
So the issue is, and you guys have different points of view, and it's
Skippy.
Right, and that's okay. It's all right, and that's what we're.
It's all right because I don't want to hurt her, but she wants to hurt other people.
Right,
and she thinks it's just fine.
But then when this dude's on here insulting me, you keep him.
Hold on, Heather.
Boy,
if you've got something to say it. No, but I was trying to let him finish his thought, and you were interrupting.
Right. Did you have anything else to offer, Lumpy?
Yeah, just that I'm such a psycho that I care about people. I pathologically care about people, and I pathologically want no harm to come to anyone, even people like her. Thanks.
Very good. Thanks for your call.
Thank you for the call. Let's go to Tyler calling in from Maryland. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450 free. Tyler, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi, Darryl. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I was initially calling about raising children, and then the discussion kind of went down a different road. And it reminded me of points discussed in The Road to Serfdom, specifically Chapter 10, called Why the Worst Get on Top.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't called in before, so I'm not used to the whole thing. But anyway, there's a great excerpt that says, just as the democratic statesman who sets out to plan economic life will soon be confronted with the alternative of either assuming dictatorial powers or abandoning his plans, so the totalitarian dictator would soon have to choose between disregard of ordinary morals and failure. It is for this reason that the unscrupulous and uninhibited are likely to be more successful in a society tending towards totalitarianism, which I think gets to the point that we were discussing.
Yeah.
But I also just wanted to bring up a question for you guys. How important is it that your significant other agrees with you on certain aspects of raising a child, specifically compulsory public schooling,
right,
and corporal punishment? And also, at what point, I don't have any kids yet, but I've been kind of discussing this idea of, not spanking with my girlfriend. And she's actually a fan of corporal punishment. She comes from an immigrant background,
right,
where it's very normal and reinforced. And regardless of all the studies that I show her to say that it's a bad way to go, she still doesn't really listen to me. So I was wondering, to bring up examples, like what if the kid's like slapping your face?
Yep.
Or, like,
hold the line, Tyler.
In the morning.
Hold the line. We'll bring you
back.
back. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, April 5th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.27 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,327 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,696. Antiwar.com reports President Trump is still very clear that he wants U.S. troops out of Syria and has even ordered commanders to quickly wrap up military operations in the country. It doesn't seem to be happening, however, as White House officials have been feverishly backpedaling from the president's comments. President Trump was said to have been pushing for a withdrawal for months behind the scenes, and comments over the past week seemingly made that formal policy. Though Trump advisors are said to have drawn up plans for a pullout, they proposed an alternative plan to Trump where they don't have to leave at all. Indications from the White House are that Trump isn't getting his way and that instead the U.S. is going to just stay in Syria to eliminate the small the Islamic State presence that yet remains. Since the U.S. has not been fighting the Islamic State on the ground in quite some time, there's no timetable for that. Administration officials seem to be eager to present this as something short of overruling Trump, which legally they can't actually do. Still, without the timetable, it's a distinction without much of a difference, and the troops are just stuck in Syria. It could be for quite some time, too, as the idea of totally eliminating the Islamic State isn't particularly realistic on any timescale. The group's fighters have mostly fled into the desert and spread out since the loss of their territory, and there will likely always be a case to be made that some of the fighters are left. That means that while presenting this as a minor hitch in Trump's pullout, it could effectively be presented as defaulting back to the old position of the Pentagon that the troops in Syria are there in an open-ended way. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports President Donald Trump on Wednesday ordered his administration to deploy National Guard members to the southwest border to assist Border Patrol agents with curbing undocumented immigration. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen said during the daily White House briefing, "It's time to act," adding that plans were being finalized. A senior administration official told reporters later Wednesday that this is all happening very rapidly and the White House expects troops to be at the border very soon. Officials did not say how many troops the National Guard would send. President Barack Obama sent 1,200 troops in 2010, and President George W. Bush sent 6,200 to the border in 2006 as part of Operation Jumpstart. Administration officials said they anticipate a significant uptick of illegal border crossing attempts in the spring and summer months, despite the fact that those crossings had declined since Trump's election. Nielsen's announcement came one day after Trump said he wanted the U.S. military to guard the border. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports teachers from across Oklahoma walked off the job for a third consecutive day on Wednesday, repeating their demands for higher pay and more spending on education. The Oklahoma Department of Public Safety officials said hundreds of teachers from dozens of districts, as well as parents and students, had packed the state capitol in Oklahoma City by mid-morning. They want lawmakers to pass a tax package that would raise another $200 million for schools. Oklahoma City resident Ashley Morris said by telephone from the rally, "My books were old when I was in high school more than 15 years ago, and chances are a lot of them are still being used today. Students just aren't getting what they need or deserve, and that puts teachers in a tough situation," adding that her roommate is a first-grade teacher who relies on a second job to pay her bills. The walkouts follow a 2-week job action in West Virginia that prompted lawmakers to raise teachers' pay. Educators in Kentucky also demonstrated against years of stagnant or reduced budgets by a Republican-controlled legislature. Teachers in Arizona have threatened similar job actions. The state's two largest school districts, Oklahoma City and Tulsa, said classes would be canceled on Thursday as well. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The NFL announces a new zero-tolerance policy on videotaped domestic violence. A puzzled nation can remember the name Ferguson, but is not sure from where. And a man wearing an M&M jacket is apparently made in God's image. This is the Onion Week in Review. Tech giant Apple unveiled a brief, fleeting moment of excitement to the general public. The short-lived, ephemeral sense of wonder was released in front of an exclusive group of reporters and industry insiders at Apple's Silicon Valley headquarters.
Apple really made us wait, but this rapidly diminishing glimmer of pleasure was totally worth it. It was 100% better than any other temporary joys I've ever experienced.
And in this week's local news, an uneasy detente forms between a man sitting on a patio and a bee. In other news, a poll finds 80% of Americans would get in a vehicle with a stranger for a chance at a new life. Bank of America introduces a new $50 underdraft fee, and the nation's huggers announce plans for you to get over here.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 2. You can join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Darryl.
And Chris.
And
then there were 2.
Yeah. So we spent a good portion of the last hour talking about child support, custody, things of that sort. And then we did have a caller that was asking a question about what we thought about how important is it for parents to have similar viewpoints on
come together on
child rearing things.
And important points about that. How do you make decisions about education and corporal punishment and things like that? And I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that I suspect your relationship's going to be much smoother if you're compatible in those ways already.
Yes.
And that's one of those things, you want to look for.
Right. And we did ask if that caller could hold the line to stay through the news, but unfortunately has dropped off. But we do have somebody in the Discord call-in line. We've got Vaginitarian calling in. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Vaginitarian?
Hold on. It appears that they
I'm
are
here.
muted.
I'm here.
There you go.
It muted.
All
I'm
right.
so sorry. Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing?
We're good, thank you.
Doing well. What's on your mind?
So I called in because I would like to talk to Heather, but she's unfortunately flown the coop. But I would like to still provide a female perspective on the arguments, which I wanted to have direct with Heather. But regardless.
Sure.
Yep, go ahead.
It is very easy for a woman to get emotional, as we've just seen. But I think the entire problem with Heather, especially on the show, is she speaks purely from emotion. And that's a big problem with recruiting women to the libertarian ideas. And it is biologically harder for us, I think, to think rationally. It just isn't how we're designed as caregivers. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. And certainly if we want to have this ideological society where we all get along and take care of one another in Heather's world, that needs to start with a calm, measured, rational conversation, which leads me to Chris, who I actually appreciate on the show. Shout out to you, because nobody else ever speaks calmly to Heather. I don't even know that I could do it right now if she was truly on the show. And that, certainly Lumpy couldn't, because she does incite a lot of anger with her emotional viewpoints that aren't based in rationality. They're not based in logic, but yet somehow you manage to do that every single Thursday. And I just wish she would respond in kind, because that's perhaps where she could start to learn, she could start to grow, and maybe even progress out of these ideas, like a lot of young female libertarians do in their youth, as I did. Mm-hmm. So I wish I could have provided that to her, and I hope she listens to it later.
Chris is definitely able to tranquilo all the time.
I'm highly impressed with it, and it's why I enjoy Heather on the show. I do not agree with anything she ever says, but I absolutely love Chris on the show, because then I learn from him as he talks to Heather, and I think about what she's saying and the people in my life that have the same viewpoints as her, and how I might be able to do the same thing if I could become educated as Chris is.
Well, I don't know about any of that. So First of all, I'm not highly educated. but
you
are smart.
You're educated about what you're discussing.
Well, yeah, whatever.
You're not a dum-dum by any stretch of the imagination.
Well,
whether
thank
you
you.
went to Harvard or just
high
some
school, with top 10 in my graduating class of 12.
A community college or whatnot. You're not a dummy.
I think why it's easy for me to talk with Heather is because I was that statist personality. I was that for most of my life. I mean, I started voting Republican and pretty much being a state worshiper as I look back on it with some disgust since 1982, since I went into the military and I started getting all these great pay raises because Reagan was in, and after year, and then started to adopt this belief that small government was good government and that we can get to where we need to be by just, if everybody could adopt that, if we could just get these Democrats on board with this idea of smaller government. But then as time goes on, you find out that there is only one real party and you're not invited to it, and that government of any size, the best thing you can say about government is it's inefficient. And there's a lot of things you can say that are worse about it. Right. So I just don't see logically why that would ever make sense to anyone. So I guess what I would say is I'm just trying to coax her along the same path that I took, how I got from there to where I am today. And it's a moral question. And I do believe she feels she's a very moral person. But that's where I like these conversations that become about morals, because then it makes you challenge what you've always thought.
I agree. I think a lot of her arguments are based in this idea of moralism, and again, they are highly emotional and they're very charged. And I think she truly does have good intentions and that she cares and she just wants love and what's good for everybody else. But similarly to you, I feel like I had a background similar to Heather's where I did have this status mentality, so much so that when I was in high school, I was arguing for the Patriot Act before I joined the military myself.
Right.
And it is possible, if you stick more to the morals than to the emotional side, I think if you rationalize more on the morality than the emotions of I love my daughter, so I want all this, this, and this from the state, but you stick to the morality of being good and not forcing violence on others, you can come back from arguing for the Patriot Act. You can come back from where Heather is shouting on Free Talk Live. But if anything, the very first thing she needs to do is to stop and listen. And we all have it. Even when I'm calling in, I'm like, make sure I listen to what they're saying, not just forming what I'm going to say next. And that's where it needs to start.
Yeah, I would agree totally. And what I don't know, I can't put my mind on exactly what the exact moment was, but when I stopped thinking about politics and government as, a system that either works or it doesn't, and started thinking of it in terms of morality, I came to realize, and this was following Ron Paul stuff, that the libertarianism is the most moral system. It's not
and the most consistent.
Yeah. But for me, what was really important was morals. How can I find something that I actually feel good about promoting and think that it would do the world a whole lot of justice to bring it into the mainstream. And that's what I really like.
I agree 100%. And I wish I could say this to her, but if she decides to come back tonight, I'd be happy to talk to her.
She will not be coming back tonight, Vaginitarian. Thank you for the call.
Appreciate it.
Let's go
Thank
to
you.
the Skype, if I can figure out how to do this, because they're on the same pot. I think I have this. Dave Ridley, are you with us?
Well, in spirit.
Yes. All right. Well, we've got you. Because the Skype and the Discord are on the same thing, and I wanted to make sure that all the things are done. So, Dave, what's on your mind?
Well, I was over at the Police Standards and Training Council in Concord, New Hampshire, the other day.
All right. What is the Police Standards and Training Council?
Well, this is an oversimplified answer, but basically an institution that you can go to complain to about officers, and they also make some action against officers sometimes.
True.
Okay.
It's made up of, I think, a not judicially, but a legislatively designated collection of police and lay people and maybe some other types of people.
All right. I'm guessing you learned something, and hopefully you will hold on the line and tell us what it is you learned when you went to the Police Standards and Training Council. I'm sure you learned standards and training. Maybe, maybe not. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
This is Darryl W. Perry, host of Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since 1989, 353 people in the United States have been exonerated by DNA testing, including 38 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 of whom served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of these cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November 1st. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because. And avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And Chris, I see that you're wearing kind of a plain, boring T-shirt, not like mine that is witty and clever and only costs $6.
Well, yeah, but I have one. Well, it doesn't say exactly what yours does,
so
but I have
describe my shirt for people that are listening.
It has a picture of T-Rex tipped over, and it says T-Rex hates push-ups.
Right, because his
he's
tiny
got
little
tiny arms, right?
And the big giant head.
T-Rex is a small arms dealer.
Yeah. It's witty, it's clever, and again, it only costs $6, and maybe you only have $6 and you're one of those libertarians that refuses to buy things from people that aren't libertarians. Well, you could get this shirt or one of probably, I dare say, hundreds, if not well over 1,000 different designs. They're at $6shirts.com. They have a gigantic selection of witty, clever T-shirts that will make you possibly the most exciting person in your boring social group. Again, starting at $6, although they do have a daily special, what they call the Tea Time special, where they have a shirt for $4. And again, it's a randomly selected, or they select and say, here's the Tea Time design, $4 until midnight, but you do have to sign up for the email list to wind up knowing about those. And these shirts are sold by somebody like you, a listener to Free Talk Live. $6shirts.com. They do accept Bitcoin. They actually have Bitcoin designs on some of their shirts. And if you use code FTL, you save 10% off of your entire order. $6 shirts. That's the number 6. $6shirts.com. Code FTL. Let's go back to the Skype where we've got Dave Ridley calling in from, I believe, somewhere in New Hampshire. Dave, you said that you went up to Concord a couple days ago, went to the Police Standards and Training Council.
Yeah, so they have this process they go through where they punish police officers sometimes. And people can complain against police officers, and people can speak before the council, I believe.
Okay.
But I always have this idea that the government tends to arm wrestle against itself. So one thing that the government does is aimed in a certain direction, and there's some other thing they're doing that's aimed in the opposite direction. And for instance, in Dallas, they had a thing going where they would, give aid to the homeless, but they would also arrest the homeless for panhandling, right?
Right.
So the thing with the council is they seem to be a fairly transparent organization, considering they're kind of cops in many cases, and they're happening at a cop facility and so forth. They were pretty accommodating to me and fairly friendly. But while I was there, almost as soon as I got there, again, to this council that is supposed to help resolve complaints against officers and prevent officers from misbehaving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were all these officers around, and they were in training, I guess, and they were marching military style to the water fountain and back to their class. And it was just this militaristic feel. They were polite and professional, but still it looked silly. It looked militaristic. I don't know how marching to the water fountain helps them arrest a burglar. And it seemed like I was seeing the source of the problem, the militarization of the police, right next to the supposed solution.
All right. So hold on. I've got a question here, and I kind of want to play devil's advocate. But first, I need an answer to the question. Were they actually marching to the water fountain, or were they just walking?
I'm sure they were marching in formation. Marching in formation, synchronized.
I think I once used the term marching in step or in lockstep, and I think that may have been an exaggeration. I'm not sure they were actually in lockstep, If you look at the first video, I guess it's called the video is called Ridley Raid's Cop Shop, or Ridley, a cop meeting faces Ridley Raid, or something like that.
Okay, yeah. The reason I was asking whether it was actual marching or they just happened to be stepping together is there have been, I don't want to say social experiments, but people have observed people walking together in groups, and they have found that the steps do wind up, basically being almost simultaneously when people are walking in groups.
Yeah, and you can walk in a group without, you can march without being Stalin, right? But it's still just this, I can only see a little bit of what's going on, and I wasn't there very long before I was just inundated with these people, going in formation to the water fountain and back, and then back to the water, and constantly back and forth to this water fountain. As I was there asking questions about police, how are you, asking these chiefs, what they're doing to bring the death rate down, the number of people they're killing. It seemed like there was a connection.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Dave?
That is all.
Thanks for the call, David.
Yep. Thanks for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And speaking of police and excessive force, there was a U.S. Supreme Court ruling earlier this week where the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday sided with an Arizona police officer in a case testing the constitutional limits for the use of force, throwing out a lawsuit brought against a woman that was shot 4 times in her driveway because she was holding a kitchen knife. Over the dissent of 2 of the liberal justices, the court overturned a 2016 lower court ruling that had allowed the civil rights lawsuit seeking $150,000 in damages from a University of Arizona Police Department Corporal Andrew Casella. The wounded woman, Amy Hughes, had accused Casella of using excessive force in the 2010 incident in violation of the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which supposedly protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. The court issued its decision at a time of intense focus on the issue of police use of force, arising from a series of incidents across the country. Most recently, the murder of Stephen Clark in his backyard by police in Sacramento. In the case decided on Monday, the court ruled in an unsigned opinion that Casella was entitled to. Chris, do you want to take a guess what they said he was entitled to?
$100 million.
Qualified immunity, which protects him from litigation because he did not violate, quote unquote, any clearly established law.
Oh, jeez.
In the dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that Casella's conduct was unreasonable and that the court should not shield him from liability. She criticized the decision as another example of its unflinching willingness to reverse lower courts when they deny officers immunity. Fellow liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg joined Sotomayor in the dissent. The decision sends the wrong signal to police, Sotomayor says, adding it tells officers they can shoot first and think later. It tells the public that palpably unreasonable conduct will go unpunished. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Free Talk Live.
I was a pedestrian and an asinine cop backed up and hit me and knocked me down to the ground. And I said, I think we need to call the police as I'm, screaming in pain. And he said, go ahead, I'm a cop too. And he left the scene of the accident.
Oh, wow.
So when the police and the ambulance and all the paramedics arrived to take me to the hospital because I have knee damage now and need knee replacements to both knees because of his actions. And I told him, I said, I'm a registered nurse. I work drug and alcohol rehab. This guy was drunk. I could see it. I could tell by his his actions. He was drunk. And I said, I want a blood alcohol done on him. They knew who he was. They waited 6 hours to go to his home to arrest him. And, of course, by then he had sobered up.
Sure. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And, we are big fans of cryptocurrency here on this show. And, Bitcoin was the first one of cryptocurrencies to, basically come to market back in 2009. And at the time, blockchain was revolutionary, and since then, blockchain tech has been adopted by industries around the world. But when it comes to currency transactions, you don't always want your transactions on public display for everyone to see. That's what makes Zencash so great. Zencash has a privacy option for transactions and messaging using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash has over 8,500 secure nodes, making it one of the most secure networks of any cryptocurrency. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded in their white paper. Zencash has better tech than their competition. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. So we got on the topic of police misconduct, partly thanks to Dave Ridley calling in about his visit to the Police Standards and Training Council. There was the court ruling earlier this week from the U.S. Supreme Court where they ruled that police officer for the University of Arizona was, he had immunity, qualified immunity, because he didn't violate any clearly established law when he shot a woman 4 times.
Right.
For holding a kitchen knife. An opinion piece, or at least I think this is an opinion piece from the LA Times, says that civil liberties advocates on the right and left have sharply criticized the ruling. Clark Neely, vice president of the Libertarian Cato Institute, said this ruling gives yet another green light to officers who use deadly force as a tool of first resort instead of last. It does so based on a legal doctrine, qualified immunity, that the Supreme Court invented out of the whole cloth to help create a policy of near zero accountability for law enforcement.
Hey, Darryl.
Yes.
Can I get some of that qualified immunity? Because sometimes that'd come in really happy.
You got any more of that qualified immunity?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking of is that Dave Chappelle, where he's looking like the crackhead? You got any more of that? Qualified immunity.
You got any of that qualified immunity?
You got any more of those taxation or theft memes?
Right. But the thing is no, of course you can't, and no, of course I can't have that, because those things are saved for government.
Right.
That the whole concept, and here in New Hampshire, it even applies to us. And I spent some time in local government, as you know, Darryl.
Yep.
And it's interesting to sit down, with attorneys from, various, state or municipal association agencies, and them tell you that, really, as a town, it's pretty tough to get sued.
Oh,
it's really tough.
Currently.
I understand. But really, on a lot of things, when it comes to police, when it comes to, did you take care of the roads or did you make them unsafe, and all these different things, the state just gets a pass.
Right. And part of that is because they'll just, and by they, I mean the courts, will just say, you, Chris, don't have standing to bring this lawsuit.
Right.
Well,
right.
There's legislation that's working its way through the legislature in New Hampshire that would put a constitutional amendment on the ballot in November that would say that a taxpayer does have standing.
Yes.
Now, that's not to say that the judge isn't going to wind up doing what they did here and say, oh, well, you didn't violate any clearly established law, so therefore immunity. It just says that they can't throw it out based on you lack standing, which is a general go-to.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen, and we've certainly seen since the beginning of the war on drugs, has been this idea that police, to do their jobs effectively, must have more and more leeway. Right. That we, courts are like, well, we say, yeah, you have to have evidence before we get you a search warrant, but you know what, in this special case, because you don't have physical evidence, okay, maybe not a big deal, and it just keeps sliding in favor of government to allow them to do what they do, and I really think we're due for a reset.
And one of the arguments that I've heard for why police and other government agents need to have these immunities is without all of these immunities, nobody would take one of these jobs.
Well, that should tell you something, shouldn't it, Darryl?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but yes, if
Stop violating people's rights, and then you don't have to worry about whether or not you have immunity.
Yeah, and if honestly, I mean, if the job is that difficult, and if that means that we're going to get fewer people that are going to apply for it, and go through all these crazy limitations that the Constitution puts on them, and courts have been putting on them, and that society demands of them, that they be almost like a unrealistically godly level of justice. Yes, that's what I want. I want that guy who has just put his or woman who has put their life into the idea of law enforcement and how do I do this and respect the laws and respect people's rights. I want that guy. What I don't want is somebody who accomplished a 4-week training course, happens to be buff, and maybe was, a veteran. And
Right.
those are the qualifications, and that's it. And, I do think that we need to bring law enforcement up to the higher standard. I think that that's not an unreasonable thing to ask
Right.
for.
A higher standard like what applies to security officers?
Well,
because security officers, if they wind up shooting somebody,
oh yeah, I see
they
what
wind
you're
up
saying.
personally being held responsible. They get fired from their job. They don't go on one of these paid administrative leave things.
Right.
If during all the time that I was a security guard, and I worked security for about 4.5 years in a couple different states, if I would have ever done anything horrible,
right,
Darryl would have been wound up responsible.
Right.
There wouldn't have been any Darryl has qualified immunity because he's got a badge from whatever the security company is.
Of course not. And that's the whole thing. It's in these areas when we build up the demand for a particular kind of job, particularly when government does it. So, for example, soldiers, because we're in war after war after war, and we've been in war for nonstop for this
240 years almost.
There might have been a brief time there when we weren't. I'll have to double check that.
The claim is there have been 20 years, but if you go through
I've seen
and
that too.
look, the U.S. military has been involved in some kind of something.
They were doing something somewhere.
Yeah.
But again, we do that. We build up the number of soldiers. We end up growing the numbers vastly. We end up lowering standards so we can get more people in. And I'm sad to say that you do end up with a lower class of applicant. And then you're going to have these things that go wrong. I don't think your average soldier, for example, is really going to play let's go hunt the terrorist like they were caught doing in Afghanistan.
Right.
Where they were just sending civilians out and, then shooting them just to have something to shoot at. I don't think your typical person on the police force drives out every day to go look for, somebody to pull over and beat them senseless.
Right.
But when you create such a vast pool and because you're demanding so many people to come into it, then you're just going to do it, and you're going to lower your standards. I remember when police officers, most of them had a criminal justice degree. Is that even still a thing?
Criminal justice degrees still exist, but I don't think that it's, a prerequisite or even hey, we would like you to have.
Right. And I know from hiring police chiefs and things like that maybe at a chief level you would look for that, but you weren't necessarily looking for that at the average beat cop, the patrol officer. That wasn't a thing. So maybe we need to do some of that too. And maybe if we have better cops, we could have fewer cops, and then we save some money too.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. And then also the crime rate goes down because they're not arresting people for having an open beer on a sidewalk. This is Free Talk Live.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance. For any occasion, it's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Really
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You know, for years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses. And, well, we here at Free Talk Live, we're helping build one. Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, but Liberty.menu is different because there's a bit of a social networking aspect to where you can actually connect and share with other users. And you wind up getting points. And right now, somebody sitting in the studio is number one on the leaderboard.
You are, Darryl.
And use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu. And if you use code FTL, you get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. Liberty.menu. And don't forget, use that code FTL to get that special listener badge. So let's jump back into this article here from the LA Times about the Supreme Court ruling earlier this week where the court wound up, well, they didn't actually rule on the case of Casella v. Hughes because the justices said that Casella, quote, acted reasonably when he used potentially deadly force against Amy Hughes, who was standing in her driveway with a knife. David Cole, legal director for the American Civil Liberties Union, said officers who use lethal force unconstitutionally should be held accountable, saying, quote, giving a free pass to officers under these circumstances will only exacerbate the problem. Federal laws since the Civil War have allowed people to sue government officials, including the police, for violating their constitutional rights. But in recent years, the Supreme Court has erected a shield of immunity for police and said officers may not be sued unless victims can point to a nearly identical shooting that had been deemed unconstitutionally excessive in a previous decision.
Okay, so if we never get one because they can't rule against them, this is circular logic. Am I right? So it's saying unless there's been a previous case that's exactly the same as this one, where the officer was found to be guilty, but we're not going to listen to him unless you've ever heard one.
Right.
It's absurd.
I forget if it was Kafka or that other guy that called it a catch-22.
Right. Joseph Heller.
Yeah, Heller, Kafka, close enough. It sounds like something that would come from the mind of Kafka.
Right. But this, geez, I mean, is it that hard to imagine that we hold police to a higher standard? Is it that wrong to hold this position that is authorized by our society, authorized by our government to carry deadly force anywhere, and not hold them to a higher standard, that they can take a life at any given moment? I just don't see what sense this makes. And, you know, we can go back to the root causes of the war on drugs and why we're in this position now. We can talk about militarization of the police departments like Dave Ridley brought up earlier, and all these different things. But why not? To me, these rulings should be the opposite.
Right.
They should always be, did the officer do everything possible to avoid a confrontation and a potential loss of life or an injury to a citizen?
And rather than decide whether Casella used excessive force, the court instead ruled that he could not be sued because the victim, Amy Hughes, could not cite a similar case involving a police officer shooting a person holding a knife. The court ruling says in part, police officers are entitled to qualified immunity unless existing precedent squarely governs the specific facts at issue. This is far from an obvious case in which a competent officer would have known that shooting Hughes to protect Chadwick was one of the people standing in the driveway near her. Shooting Hughes to protect Chadwick would violate the Fourth Amendment and its ban on unreasonable seizures. In recent months, legal scholars and the Cato Institute have joined civil rights lawyers in criticizing the court's approach to police shootings. University of Chicago law professor William Baude, a former clerk for Chief Justice John Roberts Jr., has argued the justices invented the doctrine of qualified immunity in the 1980s and have steadily expanded it to block suits in cases of excessive force.
Yeah, it's time to reverse this. It's time for people to start demanding of their representatives that this needs to go the other direction. My God, I mean, anytime the government feels that people are getting out of control, they have too many rights, whatever, we have to rein this back in for society, for the sake of our children, whatever it happens to be. We've got to rein in this behavior we don't feel is moral, we don't feel is right. Well, I'm sorry, I feel that the taking of a human life is the most immoral thing you can possibly do, and it can only be done under the strictest, the most stringent circumstances.
Right. And then what happened with the case several years ago where the police threw a flashbang into the baby's crib and the family sued? Didn't that wind up getting kicked out of court? Of the cops had no reason to believe that there would be a baby in a crib on the other side of the window
they
threw a flashbang grenade into?
Right, when they had the wrong address and everything else. I will have to Google that.
So I can just go around randomly throwing flashbang grenades into people's windows because, why would I think that there's going to be a baby on the other side of a window?
No, Darryl, police can do that. You can't do that. You do not have qualified immunity. And again,
I've got a shiny badge.
Yeah, but
it says shiny badges don't grant extra rights, but it's shiny and it's a badge.
I know that, but it's just not how it works. And I would hope, and this is where I will side with, people that I don't always agree with politically, and
like
that's
Sonia Sotomayor.
Yeah, as an example, one of the most liberal justices on the Supreme Court today, and I will, I'd love to reach out to Black Lives Matter folks and all sorts of Antifa. I mean, are they against this kind of thing? I will work with Antifa to try to address these things. It just blows me away, and I think that any American, and this is what drives me nuts, conservatives, those who feel that the government should be small and restricted and of limited power, they should be supporting this, and gun rights people should be supporting this,
Right.
and everybody else.
Sotomayor said the majority had revised the facts to favor the officer. Hughes held a kitchen knife down by her side with the blade facing away from Chadwick, who was the other person standing in the driveway. Hughes was nowhere near the officers, had committed no illegal act, was suspected of no crime, and did not raise the knife in the direction of Chadwick or anyone else. Two officers kept talking, but, quote, without giving a warning that they would open fire, Casella shot Hughes 4 times, leaving her seriously wounded. If this account of Casella's conduct sounds unreasonable, that's because it was. She added the court's one-sided approach to qualified immunity transforms the doctrine into an absolute shield for law enforcement officers, gutting the deterrent effect of the Fourth Amendment.
So would you like an update? We had talked a little bit about that. The deputy who had tossed a flashbang grenade in Georgia.
Yeah.
Happened in Atlanta. This was from 2015 when this came out. But a former Georgia deputy has been acquitted in the federal court of lying to a judge in connection with a drug raid last year that left a toddler critically injured. The case of then 19-year-old Bunkum Fonasavia, known as Baby Boo Boo, drew intense criticism from the American Civil Liberties Union, which described the raid as a stark example of, quote, systemic police militarization, unquote. Authorities were serving a late-night raid or a no-knock warrant on May 28, 2014 at a home where they believed Baby Boo Boo's father's nephew, a suspected meth dealer, was staying when they lobbed in a flash grenade. The nephew wasn't home, and the grenade designed to disorient its target landed in Boo Boo's crib. Boo Boo was placed in a medically induced coma. His mother, Alicia, wrote in Salon that the grenade covered his body in burns and ripped a hole in his chest that exposed his ribs, unquote. Yet, again, that was a case where I'll try to read more into this article and find out, but, here you have this case of being at the wrong house. The people that were supposed to be there weren't there.
Right.
You pull a no-knock raid, which puts everybody's lives in danger, including the police officers. Something horrible like this goes wrong, and the cop walks free.
Found a headline from February 2016, $3.6 million awarded in flashbang grenade maiming of the baby. But still, no actual punishment for the cop. This is Free Talk Live.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business. project, website, or idea, email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, April 5th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.27 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,327 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,696. Antiwar.com reports President Trump is still very clear that he wants U.S. troops out of Syria and has even ordered commanders to quickly wrap up military operations in the country. It doesn't seem to be happening, however, as White House officials have been feverishly backpedaling from the president's comments. President Trump was said to have been pushing for a withdrawal for months behind the scenes, and comments over the past week seemingly made that formal policy. Though Trump advisors are said to have drawn up plans for a pullout, they proposed an alternative plan to Trump where they don't have to leave at all. Indications from the White House are that Trump isn't getting his way and that instead the U.S. is going to just stay in Syria to eliminate the small Islamic State presence that yet remains. Since the U.S. has not been fighting the Islamic State on the ground in quite some time, there's no timetable for that. Administration officials seem to be eager to present this as something short of overruling Trump, which legally they can't actually do. Still, without the timetable, it's a distinction without much of a difference, and the troops are just stuck in Syria. It could be for quite some time, too, as the idea of totally eliminating the Islamic State isn't particularly realistic on any timescale. The group's fighters have mostly fled into the desert and spread out since the loss of their territory, and there will likely always be a case to be made that some of the fighters are left. That means that while presenting this as a minor hitch in Trump's pullout, it could effectively be presented as defaulting back to the old position of the Pentagon that the troops in Syria are there in an open-ended way. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports President Donald Trump on Wednesday ordered his administration to deploy National Guard members to the southwest border to assist Border Patrol agents with curbing undocumented immigration. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen said during the daily White House briefing, "It's time to act," adding that plans were being finalized. A senior administration official told reporters later Wednesday that this is all happening very rapidly and the White House expects troops to be at the border very soon. Officials did not say how many troops the National Guard would send. President Barack Obama sent 1,200 troops in 2010, and President George W. Bush sent 6,200 to the border in 2006 as part of Operation Jumpstart. Administration officials said they anticipate a significant uptick of illegal border crossing attempts in the spring and summer months, despite the fact that those crossings had declined since Trump's election. Nielsen's announcement came one day after Trump said he wanted the U.S. military to guard the border. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports teachers from across Oklahoma walked off the job for a third consecutive day on Wednesday, repeating their demands for higher pay and more spending on education. The Oklahoma Department of Public Safety officials said hundreds of teachers from dozens of districts, as well as parents and students, had packed the state capitol in Oklahoma City by mid-morning. They want lawmakers to pass a tax package that would raise another $200 million for schools. Oklahoma City resident Ashley Morris said by telephone from the rally, "My books were old when I was in high school more than 15 years ago, and chances are a lot of them are still being used today. Students just aren't getting what they need or deserve, and that puts teachers in a tough situation," adding that her roommate is a first-grade teacher who relies on a second job to pay her bills. The walkouts follow a 2-week job action in West Virginia that prompted lawmakers to raise teachers' pay. Educators in Kentucky also demonstrated against years of stagnant or reduced budgets by a Republican-controlled legislature. Teachers in Arizona have threatened similar job actions. The state's two largest school districts, Oklahoma City and Tulsa, said classes would be canceled on Thursday as well. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Today's most popular video games take place in dangerous post-apocalyptic landscapes. But are these games doing enough to prepare our kids for the actual post-apocalyptic future we will all soon face?
Well, I think these games are quite effective at teaching our kids skills like finding shotgun ammo and leading elite squads of super soldiers.
But these aren't the advanced skills that they're going to need. They're going to need the more practical skills like how to find drinking water by collecting the morning dew in human skulls.
Or how to deal with depression when the sun is blocked out for 500 years by a cloud of radioactive dust.
Absolutely. Now, that's the type of knowledge these kids are going to need when their world has been turned into a brutal hellscape.
But these kids said that they know how to find items to barter at weapon shops and how to use medicine packs to heal zombie bites.
The games make it all seem deceptively simple. I mean, in the future, a kid's not going to be able to kill a 6-foot-long irradiated beetle just by pressing a few buttons. And he's going to have to get down there with an axe and hack and hack and hack.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3. You can call in and join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And let's go to the Skype, where we've got Mortified Penguin calling in. Mortified Penguin, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We got you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, I was listening earlier. I think I missed some pretty important segments there, but I was at the gym and trying to get a call in to you. And by the way, Darryl, I love the segments, fbpradio.com. Big fan of that.
Right.
Yeah, but anyways, I just wanted to say I was listening to around like second segment about how they're talking about government institutions and various things. It's been a while, but what I kind of wanted to share is that unlike the majority of your hardcore libertarians and anarchists, I'm not really the radical individualist that wants to live on my own island or my own secluded area, and you come within a mile of my exclusive zone, you get shot up by my chain gun or whatever. I'm not the radical individualist that wants to be. I
so
understand
you're not putting machine gun turrets at the end of your driveway.
Not that. Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
You mow a foot over into my property line, you violated the NAP.
Right.
Yeah. Mortar strike. But I know that people do definitely value living in a functioning society and an interconnected society, and that should not change in a market-based, more voluntary society. So what I would have to say is that I hear these anarchist and minarchist ideas, and I look for how little would change. Obviously, so much would change, right. But how many analogs would there be to the same ideas? There'd be rules. There would still be rules, regulations, certifications, voluntary, certification agencies, regulating agencies.
Mm-hmm.
That people have to, let's say, the Better Business Bureau times 1,000 for all different kind of entities, and you would look for that kind of regulation, which is voluntary.
Oh, you mean kind of like with electronics, to where people look for the Underwriter's Laboratory mark or one of the other, voluntary certifications that say this isn't just going to explode on you.
Well, I think
those would be.
Yeah, I think your point's excellent, because the idea that anarchism or voluntarism would just bring about just this, nobody's going to do anything. The idea is to get away from the use of force, which is what government is and does and has a monopoly on, and get back to basically the golden rule, which, Christians and most religions have been preaching forever.
Right.
Be nice to each other. Do the right thing. It's not tough to figure out.
Right. And one thing that I find rather interesting is a lot of people that love government, they'll say, all right, you person that either want really, really small or no government, explain how every possible problem I can come up with is going to be solved in your society, even though those problems aren't being solved now.
Right.
Go.
Right. And they're not being solved now.
You can't answer every question that I come up with? Then that means that your thing that doesn't advocate for central planning is going to fail because you can't centrally plan everything.
Right. And again, ignoring that their system doesn't work either. And yeah, I'm with you. That's just, it's common sense. And it's as if we ever dared to consider another form of society, that common sense would just disappear.
I mean, yeah, if it's supposed to be a utopia, then yes, I guess a utopia, by definition, all of most problems are going to be changed. But no, there will be problems because we live in an imperfect world.
Right.
But I think the idea is what's the principle, and the principle is getting away from the use of force, the monopolistic use of force, in order to kind of enforce things like this. And my idea of progress is getting past that, basically.
Yeah.
A great point.
Yep. Great call, Mortified Penguin.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's go to the phones. 855-450 free. We've got Dave calling in from New York. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi, guys. How you doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's say you guys did something wrong. And you guys would apologize for that. Let's say you stole something or you did something kind of wrong, whatever. You guys would apologize and say, I'm sorry for doing such and such, right?
Yep, I would.
Yeah.
Daryl's always very apologetic.
Okay, because there is a guy who I know. His name is Jared. He did something wrong, which kind of annoyed the hell out of me. All I want him to do is apologize.
Have you tried talking to Jared?
Yes, I have. I want him to apologize. I want him to say, my name is Jared. I'm sorry for posting your therapist information on a public forum.
All right, hold on, Dave. Hold on. So telling us that you want Jared to apologize isn't going to really help unless you know that Jared listens to the radio show.
And
yes, he does.
Okay, well, whether people apologize, I apologize because I feel it's the right thing to do if I'm wrong.
Right.
And Darryl probably does for the same reason.
Yes.
But I can't make or do anything that's going to cause somebody else to apologize unless they want to.
And if you ever wind up seeing somebody stand behind a lectern and they hold up a piece of paper and begin reading, right. I seriously want to apologize, blah, blah, blah.
Go ahead.
If my friend Shane can apologize for Fable, and if Tristan Piper can apologize for me, then Jared can apologize to me.
Yes, he can, Dave.
Thanks for the call.
For the call. But what I was going to say is if you see somebody reading a prepared remark that at some point says, and I apologize for my actions, they're not actually sorry.
Yeah, that's usually, maybe you want some notes there when you do it.
They might be sorry that they got caught, but they're not sorry for what they did.
Yeah, you're referring to politicians, Darryl.
They're the ones that have the statements behind lecterns.
Sometimes it's athletes. Sometimes it's important business
public officials.
People.
if they wind up getting caught with their pants down, literally or figuratively.
The wife will be behind them on their, let me see, behind them and to the left. That's usually where the spouse will stand.
Back and to the left, kind of like John Kennedy's head.
Jeez.
Too soon?
Oh, too soon. Yeah.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Chris, you pulled something up, I think.
I always have stories, Darryl.
Yeah.
You can just look over here and go, Chris, give me a story. Well,
which is basically what I did.
You just did that, didn't you? Yeah. So a lot of people get kind of freaked out when strangers come to their door, and sometimes those strangers start asking questions.
Oh, you're talking about government officials.
I am, and I'm talking about census workers.
Rent-a-fed.
Right. So, every 10 years we're encouraged to, the census takers, it's very important data, and, it's crucial for our country to operate efficiently, and it's good to know who's here. And there's a lot of concerns with the current administration about whether that's just going to be used as a method of identifying people that are here illegally, because the Trump administration's been very clear that they don't like that to happen.
Right. And I forget which one of Trump's officials had said that they're going to, for the first time since 1950, add a question to the census form that winds up going out in just about 2 years, asking, are you a legal citizen?
And the Washington Post comes to us with this story. It says the Census Bureau plans to ask people if they are U.S. citizens in the 2020 count of the nation's population, igniting fears that the information could be used to target those in the country illegally.
But there are so many other things that one could be. One could be a green card holder.
Right.
One could be a U.S. national from American Samoa that is not yet a U.S. citizen. One could be a
different
student
choices
here on a student visa. There are a lot of things that one could be other than legal or undocumented immigrant.
And that's all one thing. The other question is what gets done with that information.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And Chris, do you know what I'm going to be doing this November?
Gosh, I haven't checked your schedule lately, but
I'm going to be running the world's biggest, most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon.
Nice.
I've been accepted onto Team Innocence Project, and I'm proud to be on their team because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since they were founded in 1992, they've helped 200 people get exonerated for crimes that they did not commit. The vast majority of those were because of DNA evidence. There have been a bunch of other people exonerated with help from other organizations, but the Innocence Project, they've helped 200 people in 25 years, and with your help, they can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees, the travel is covered, the lodging is covered, but what I need to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon is to raise $3,500 by November 1st. I've secured about $1,000 more matching fund, $1,500 total. About $500 has already been matched, meaning that another $1,000 can be matched dollar for dollar. And yeah, doesn't have to be a lump sum of $1,000. So you donate 10,
okay,
it becomes 20.
Darryl. Okay.
You donate 20, it becomes 40.
I get it.
Up to 1,000, and basically once I raise another $1,000, I've reached that goal.
Nice.
Again, I need to raise $3,500. You can help. Run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com. And donate now so that your dollars wind up being matched.
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about, well, the census and what it's going to mean this year in 2020, next time it's going to be conducted. It's only a couple more years out.
Yep.
And this concern that maybe this year there will be some more questions, a question being reinstated for the first time since 1950 to help enforce the Voting Rights Act. And there are safeguards in place to prevent any abuse of that information. It's illegal to release information that would identify individuals or families.
That's what they say.
Right. But does not mean that census data has been used to target specific populations in the past. In fact, here's a fun fact for you. Information from the 1940 census was secretly used in one of the worst violations of constitutional rights in U.S. history, the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. In papers presented in 2007 and 2000, historian Margot J. Anderson of the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee and statistician William Seltzer of Fordham University found evidence that census officials cooperated with the government, providing data to target Japanese Americans. The Japanese American community has long suspected the Census Bureau of playing a role in the push to banish 120,000 Japanese Americans, mostly living on the West Coast, into nearly a dozen internment camps. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, according to former Commerce Secretary Norman Mineta. Mineta, who lives in San Jose, was 11 when he and his family were sent to live in an internment camp at Hart Mountain, Wyoming. For decades, though, census officials denied that they had played any role in providing information. According to Anderson and Seltzer, the Federal Bureau of Investigation and military intelligence agencies began pushing in late 1939 to relax census confidentiality rules in the hopes of accessing data on individuals. But the effort was opposed by Census Bureau Director William Lane Austin. After the 1940 presidential election, however, Austin was first forced to retire. He was replaced by J.C. Capt, who backed efforts to remove confidentiality provisions. Cap's efforts helped clear the way for other agencies to access the information on Japanese Americans. In 2000, Anderson and Seltzer found documents that showed officials with the Census Bureau had provided block-level information on where those of Japanese ancestry were living in California, Arizona, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, and Arkansas.
And just to make sure that I understand, block level means the neighborhood, basically, that they were living.
What block they lived on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I didn't, because sometimes governments will use words that sound like one thing, but they mean something completely different.
And if you're in databases, a block means something completely different to you, or if you're in cryptocurrency. But yeah, that kind of detailed location, how do you actually round up, 100,000 people? If you have that census data and you know where they live, even down to the block, then that's going to make it a lot easier. It's a lot easier to go to a neighborhood and say, is there a Mexican family that lives around here somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the claim that this question is needed because of the Voting Rights Act is just ludicrous, because if it was, one would think that it would have been added to the census in 1970, or 1980, or 1990, or 2000, or 2010, like one of the last 5 that have happened since the Voting Rights Act came through. Now, I know that there's a lawsuit that I believe it was thrown out at the federal level in Texas, where somebody was trying to claim that they should only use the number of registered voters, not the total number of people, for determining districts.
Yeah.
But the U.S. Constitution says that the apportionment of representatives is based on the number of people. And then it says excluding Indians not taxed, but they're all taxed now because they had citizenship foisted upon them in 1921.
Right, whether they wanted it or not. Yeah. So there's certainly a human rights aspect to this, and there is a personal and a civil rights aspect to this. But my take on this whole thing is completely different. When I look at the Trump administration and some of these ideas and some of these decisions, and particularly illegal immigration and economic warfare through the use of tariffs, this tells me that this administration lacks a serious understanding of basic economics.
Right.
So we have illegal immigration in large part because there are jobs here that are worth doing to people from south of the border for the most part.
Even though the amount of undocumented immigrants coming into the United States has dropped since Trump became president.
It doesn't matter. Well, all I'm saying is that there are some jobs in America that do not have the economic value to hire someone of minimum wage or greater.
Right.
And there are people south of the border that are willing to accept those jobs and the risk associated with it for that amount of money.
Right. The reason I pointed out that the number is actually down is because the Trump administration is claiming that the number is going up, which is why he's sending the National Guard to the border.
And it was actually dropping during Obama's administration, too.
Yeah, and it's been going down even faster since, the orange guy got into the White House.
Right. But, again, fundamental issue, do you understand economics? Do you understand that trade is good? Do you understand that having pools of cheap labor when you cannot produce them is a good thing?
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original, most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 453. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And, we are fans of cryptocurrency on this show. And one place that I often go to wind up getting news about the crypto world is news.bitcoin.com. Looking at some of the headlines here from the last several hours. Interesting headline about a cryptocurrency called Verge, where, this currency was actually forced to have a fork after suffering a 51% attack. I've heard people talk about these, mythical 51% attacks. Apparently, one of the coins has actually wound up having one, and you can read all about it. News.bitcoin.com. Let's go to the phones where we've got Rob calling in from San Francisco. He's watching on Twitch. Rob, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the response. I was somewhat skeptical of even getting on the show in the first place, so I really do appreciate this.
Yep, go ahead with your thoughts. What's on your mind?
This is more or less this is a topic of interest, but I'll say before I get to what I was originally thinking, I kind of want to, piggyback on what you were talking about earlier about wages.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I would like to start this off by throwing out a question. Are either of you in favor of a minimum wage?
I personally am not.
No.
Okay.
No, neither?
Neither.
Now, when you say minimum wage, I'm guessing you mean government-mandated minimum wage, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
No, I am not in favor of that.
Yep. Likewise. Go ahead.
Okay, so, all right, actually it makes this a whole lot easier to I guess, approach. Because I'm also not in favor. I thought both of you were in favor of it at first and just bringing up the idea that
Nope, we are, actual libertarians, which means that we don't believe that government should wind up interfering in private contracts.
Yeah,
which is really what an employment contract is. It's a private contract.
Right, and the idea that the government can step in and make some jobs illegal, that's the key point to me is, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to set a wage and say that everything under $10 is now illegal. That's so how people should look at it instead of
jobs that I had of, like picking up trash for people and raking leaves and doing so for like $5. That is now illegal.
Right. So if things aren't economical to do, then it's going to bring other players into the market, like people from other countries, which is fine with me. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm extremely fascinated now. I didn't expect either of you to be self-proclaimed libertarians.
Oh.
Oh, man.
So you're new to the show.
This is my first time tuning in.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I was just looking for a call-in show because I enjoy talking with people.
Oh, nice. Where are you listening to us from?
From Twitch.
He's watching on Twitch. He's one of the Twitch people.
Excellent.
He's listed here as being in San Francisco.
Yeah, you'll find Free Talk Live is mostly people that have a similar outlook. Occasionally, we certainly disagree, and tonight earlier was a great example of that. But that we try to promote the ideas of liberty and freedom every day.
Yeah. Okay. So Rob, continue with your thoughts.
Yeah. All right. So I've always struggled with, I guess, self-identifying as like an actual libertarian, like a full-blown libertarian. I just don't see how it would play itself out. And the issue that comes to mind is, if we're a libertarian, isn't that a form of anarchism?
Well,
or is that like a form of minarchism?
Yeah.
Where it's as limited government control as possible. What are we?
So there are both minarchist and anarchist within the Libertarian Party. So when you ask, is libertarianism minarchism or anarchism, the correct answer is yes. It just depends on how, consistently you follow the ideas of liberty. Right. If you follow that nobody, when you sign the Libertarian Pledge that says I don't advocate for the initiation of force or fraud for political or social goals, if you conclude that to mean that nobody can use force or fraud for political or social goals, then it means that you think that those bureaucrats and paper pushers and people wearing shiny badges also can't use force or fraud for political or social goals.
Right. So Darryl gives a perspective very much from the party because he's involved in the Libertarian Party and things like that.
Right.
I'm not a party guy. I spent too many years in parties, and it just wasn't a lot of fun. So I tend to look at it more as a philosophy of who I am and how I want to live my life, and what kind of society I want to see. And I want to see a society where people do things voluntarily, that they're not forced to do things. Now, a lot of these are the same things that Darryl talked about.
Right.
But, I don't think one has to become a member of the Libertarian Party to espouse those sorts of beliefs and to
and
promote
not everybody
them.
that joins the party actually espouses those beliefs.
Right. So it's like every other party to me in that you're going to have all these different flavors and you'll have a set platform that, a very small percentage are actually going to believe in 100%. And, if you are more of a minarchist type of person, you're like, you know what, I get the idea, but I think we still need to have, some level of, police enforcement to catch bad guys or to keep us safe. That's fine because that's what you believe. That's great. I'm not one of those people that is so pure that's going to say, no, absolutely not. I'd love to have, 300 million more minarchists in this country today.
Right.
Because that means they're 6 months away from becoming 300 million voluntarists. So I'll take it.
Okay. So would you mind if I picked your brain on, I guess, some of the ideas that I align or associate with libertarianism?
Go ahead.
Okay. So the first question is, what is your, where do you stand when it comes to having a border?
I'm not in favor. I understand the need to sort of say the jurisdiction ends over there. So, drawing a line on a map is fine, but when those lines are used to restrict human freedom, that's where I draw my line about what borders should be used for.
Right. From my point of view, borders are functions of states, that states by necessity, by definition, have to have well-defined borders. So, they are lines on a map. They help understand. That's completely different than lines on like property maps that show where my property ends and my neighbors begin. Those things I think are very important. But I would like to see people be able to travel freely.
And if I had my way, I would love to see a separation of state and geography to where, you could wind up having your next door neighbor be under a completely different set of jurisprudence. And it's not something that I invented. This thing called polycentric civilizations have existed in various places throughout history.
Interesting.
Anything else?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I didn't expect either of those.
So, well, let me ask you, Rob, what are your thoughts on borders?
Yeah. So I fall more in line with the minarchist idea because I don't see it functioning if a form of governance dissolves to the point where we're in our own little enclaves or we kind of branch off into our own little groups of people we have ties with and we have to develop our own bonds and rules and code of ethics, etc. I don't see it functioning for too long. It just seems susceptible to being conquered, being infiltrated, or just being taken over. And it's we created this thing, but it's not sustainable.
Rob, thank you for the call. It sounds like you've got something important beeping in the background. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now in these final moments. It's Chris.
And Darryl.
And wow. It's been
kind of a draining night.
Yeah, it's
Is that what
been
you're saying?
one of those nights.
All right.
I have no clue why I
That's all right.
Yeah.
We'll just start introducing each other.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones where we've got Sarah calling in. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, so they collected 3,005 signatures.
Hold on. Who is they?
Who is they, and what were
they
the
collecting
signatures
for?
Well, there was a 12-year-old girl that got killed by a car at the crosswalk in front of the Cleveland Middle School about 10 days ago.
And this is in Albuquerque?
Right. And so the mother collected, all the schools collected 3,005 signatures, and they presented it to the counselors. So they're going to...
What were the signatures for?
They're going to what?
To put in a high-intensity activated crosswalk.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what they want.
So when people are in it, it lights up in some way so that cars can see them?
Well, I think if there's somebody wanting to cross, they would press the button. It's pedestrian activated.
Oh, a button.
Oh, we have some of these in Keene. Over by the college, to where you hit a little button and then flashy lights go up.
Right.
And then people know to slow down because somebody's going to be in the crosswalk.
I love the idea. You know what I would love about it even more, Sarah? If private companies owned those roads and realized that they could benefit and charge more money because the roads were safer because they had these things on them. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. Well, it's public owned. You can't. It's the way it is.
Does it have to be that way, though? I mean, couldn't we change that?
Well, you know what? My concern is to make the crosswalk safer, no matter who owns it.
I know, but you always call us talking about how horrible it is. So government's obviously not doing a really good job about keeping pedestrians safe. So I'm saying, why not try something else? Why not have somebody that actually has a financial interest in roads being safer? Wouldn't that make sense? If my company could make more money if I kept pedestrians safer on my roads, do you think more people would drive on them? I'll bet I could.
I really, my emphasis is not that. Whether who owns it. I'm a communist, so I like a public-owned thing.
I know you do, but it kills people.
Well, that's not the reason behind it. It's just, what I have noticed is
it isn't?
People are happy getting hit by a car.
I've never met anybody that got hit by a car that said, "You know what? I'm so happy I got hit by that car."
It's even better when it's a hit and run because it's like a surprise.
I've met people like this. So I met a person on the bus. He goes, "I got hit by a car last month," with a smile on his face. This is awesome.
Yeah, he probably had a smile on his face because he got some kind of settlement.
I don't know what he got, but he's like, well, if I get killed tomorrow by a car, that's fine with me. We all gotta go.
I think you're having these conversations solely in your own head.
Oh, Sarah, come on. So let me walk you through this. I mean, Chris's Chris's road company comes to Albuquerque, and I buy up all the roads around where you live, and I want people to be safe, so I know that pedestrians are good for local businesses, and if I can attract more pedestrians and keep those pedestrians safe, those businesses are going to pay me more for the use of their roads for people to get to their businesses. So it makes financial sense for me to install these high-intensity crosswalks and things like that so that I can attract more business for my customers, which are the businesses. That just makes good financial sense. So by removing the public part of this, I could arguably provide a much safer environment for everyone. What do you think?
Well, something, the auto industry is a corporation, it's a private industry, and then they get their way. They have their car speed and run everybody over, and then they keep on going. What you're saying is the automobile and the auto industry should be, it's a capitalist for-profit organization, and then they have created all of this.
Hold on, Sarah. You said you ride a bus, correct?
That's correct.
Do you know who made that bus? one of the automobile companies.
So here's
So your problem isn't with automobile companies. Your problem is that people don't take the bus. Your problem is that cars have drivers. Although I don't think you necessarily had a problem, and I think somebody said that you even said on the air you'd be happy to be hit by an autonomous car instead of a car driven by a human. So you're not being consistent here.
Well, you know what? I prefer that because I've had too many cars with people in it try to kill me every single day. I'm running out of their way. So that's what I would prefer.
How about this?
I don't know why you make such a big deal about a self-driving car killing a person. We just killed a 12-year-old girl. You know, I want to tell you something. Darryl, you never make a big deal about 37,000 people that got killed by a car last year.
No, but you never make a big deal out of 100,000 people that die because our government bans weed every year.
Or how many people die from cigarettes. I don't celebrate in anybody's death, Sarah. And for you to claim that somehow I celebrate people dying in automobile accidents is absolutely ludicrous.
Okay, so let's drop the whole Chris buys the roads. Let's drop that, Sarah. How about Chris buys out all the rights to deliver people by bus?
Or hold on, what if Chris just agrees to wind up paying for this hawk instead of using taxpayer funds to pay for this hawk, which, by the way, is an absolutely absurd acronym for high intensity activated crosswalk. So they're capitalizing the H, the A, the W in the middle of the word crosswalk,
all right,
and then the K at the end.
Yeah, what if I own a business down there, and why don't I say, you know what, I'd like to buy that because that will make my customers safe. Customers that cross the street alive tend to buy more than customers that are dead.
That's a fact.
Okay, let's say the private industry does take it. So our tax dollars are going to be all hoarded by the Amazon company who gets cheap ratings, cheap cost that they use our post office, and they hog all of our tax dollars.
I don't want any tax dollars. I just want to. No.
How are you making the leap from if Chris builds one of these crosswalks that Amazon then gets your tax dollars?
She is being pro-Trump here. So go ahead with your...
Trump is telling the truth, okay? Amazon, they're the wealthiest company in this country because they use our post office.
And they get the things that I get from Amazon wind up coming through UPS.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sarah, you do know that the post office always loses billions of dollars every year, that they never turn a profit, and that taxpayers end up paying that difference? You do know that, right?
Right.
But can you imagine? So take out the billions of dollars that Amazon is now receiving because the U.S. Postal Service is forbidden from taking a deal that they cannot demonstrate shows that they make money on. So basically what the Amazon deal has done is reduced the loss of our post office. Now, Trump may not like that, but that's a fact.
Yeah, you know what? It's a real lie when they said the postal pension people are draining the post office. They just don't want to pay them a pension. The Amazon has been ripping the taxpayers off through the post office for years and years and years. And you know what? In always kicked me around. If you beat up all the handicapped, if you kick my ass, is your pension going to be back? I mean, is your 401k going to be gone? Amazon's going to be sending all of our tax dollars to the post office?
Well, first of all, I have problems with pensions. The idea that people should receive money just because they've worked somewhere for a certain period of time. Companies are free to offer pension plans and things like that if people want to contribute or if a company wants to pay the whole thing. But I have a real issue when it's taxpayer
Congress mandating that a company do something, even though technically they like to say that the post office is a private company, but yet the post office can't do anything without congressional approval. Sarah, thanks you for the call. We're out of time for tonight, but we'll be back on tomorrow, as we are every night of the week, live from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And until then, we're online at freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7